Name that magazine. This is Donna Devane, station owner here at AwakenedRadio.net, and I've got an announcement. Awakened Radio Network is putting together a brand new magazine. We're looking for writers, artists. It's going to be really exciting and awesome. But we got one problem. We don't have a name. Can you believe that? We don't have a name for our brand new magazine. So I've launched a contest, the Name That Magazine contest. If you'll head on over to facebook.com/Awakened Radio, facebook.com/Awakened Radio. You can get all the information on how making your suggestion for what our magazine should be called can win you big prizes. I'm adding to the prizes. The more people that participate, well, the more I'll add. Right now, we've got a $50 credit from the store. We've got a 30-minute tarot reading from Ingrid Geronimo. We've got a month of free hosting here on the Awakened Radio Network and a 1-hour coaching session with me and more to come. I will add stones and crystals. Who knows, copies of my book. It's unlimited what the prizes can be. All you got to do to enter is go to facebook.com/Awakened Radio. Look for any of the graphics there that show the event page. I created an event so that you can click on that and I can have all the suggestions in one place. So help us find a name for our magazine. Visit us at awakenedradio.net. Look around, listen to some shows, read the forums, check out our hosts, see what they're talking about, get a feel for us, and then head on over to facebook.com/Awakened Radio. Look for the event tab or the event graphic and offer us your suggestion for the name of our magazine. Who knows? You could be a winner. Help us share this and get the word out. We really would appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Lillerose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Hello everyone, welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio. This is Pernilla Lillerose, your host today and every time actually. And today I will be my own guest, which I happen to do every other week. It's nice to get a new flavor in every other week and share this message and hear other women share their message with me, with you, so we can get a broader vision, a broader feel for what's possible. It helps expand our world of possibilities. And hopefully it will help you get more in touch with your own vision, with what you would like to do. The more you hear other women talk about this, it's my intention that it might spark your vision in your heart so you can really start trusting it, living from it, expressing it, enjoying it, letting it out, and not hold it back anymore. As you know, this radio show is called Evolutionary Women, and the way I see Evolutionary Women is simply that we are tapping in to our heart. We're tapping into this new energy that is available to you, to me, to all of us. Most of us have turned away from our vision. We have turned away from who we are. And that's where we are out there fumbling and stumbling and suffering because we're not quite sure why we're here and what we're supposed to do. So this radio show is really, it's my deep intention to help every single woman and man. I know there's a number of men listening in, and it's not gender-based. It's just, for whatever reason, that's how it came through here, to call it Evolutionary Women. And I also have my other movement called Women Standing for Love. But luckily, there are many, many men who are connecting into these same visions, and so we can all work together. If you would like to connect with me during this show today, I invite you to go to the chat room. You can just go in and say hello, put in your name and just say hi. If you have something you would like to share, if you have a question, just put it in there and I'll do my best to get to that. I know Donna, our station owner, she helps me see it because I have still a hard time to read, talk, and communicate on my keypad all at once. Very difficult. I know some people do it, but that's not my forte. You can also call in at a little later in the show if you have something you want to share just live on the show itself. That would be great. It's actually not scary. It seems a little scary maybe in the beginning to hear your voice broadcasted that way, but it's fine. Nothing bad has happened so far to me. So if you want to call in, please do so. I would love to connect with you. And the number is 334-649-7204. I'd love to hear from you. 334-649-7204. And of course, you can also go to the forum page here on awakenedradio.net. And you can also communicate with me there. I have a little thing in there. I write something every week. You can connect with that, a little bit about the radio show. You can find the rebroadcast there if you want to. So there's a lot of ways to connect with me and the vision. And of course, ultimately, it's your own vision you want to connect with. And when you connect with other visions, it's simply so you can connect back to yours. And then when you find your vision in your heart, whatever it is that makes you feel alive and have meaning, there's something that matters to you, that's where you will find your vision. The vision is not out there in the world. The vision is found in your heart, in my heart, in everybody's heart. It's a matter of pausing, slowing down enough so we can start turning our attention inward more and connect with this vision that is waiting for every single one of us to have an opportunity to express itself. But we are the ones who need to turn to it so it can make itself known to us. And once that happens, then we can start opening up to it and start bringing it to the world. A number of years ago, I don't know if it's 6 years ago or so, I was reading these books. I have mentioned them before here by Vladimir Megre. The series is from the Ringing Cedar series, and the first book is called Anastasia, and it's about a woman who lived in the Siberian taiga, where it's very, very cold and seems impossible to survive and live. But she lived there. Whether it's a true story or not, it's kind of besides the point right now. The reason that I want to mention these books is because just by reading those books, it reignited the vision in my heart. I was also out there not quite sure why I was here. I was doing, my spiritual work, my psychological work, my healing work, my work in the world. But there was something I hadn't quite seen what it was in my heart that really wanted to take root and start expressing itself. And there were a few things that happened simultaneously when I was reading one of those 9 books. There's a series of 9, and I think it might have been the 3rd or 4th book. And there were just some things that happened, and suddenly I just had this insight, this realization, this aha with my whole body, where I so deeply got that we as the people have lost touch with our vision. And that is why the world looks the way it does. What I saw too is that there is maybe a larger or a smaller group, or there is a group of individuals who do have vision, and they know how to use vision, and they are pretty much ruling a lot of the world without us really knowing it. And part of what I saw was that part of their vision is actually to keep us out of touch with our vision. Now, I know it sounds really weird when I say it, and if I was listening and I hadn't had that experience myself, I might go like, well, how do you know that? And truthfully, I can't really tell you how I know it. It was just seen very clearly. And what it did to me was it just woke something up in me that said, Pernilla, you need to help people get back in touch with their vision. Once we get in touch with our vision, things will change. Things do change. But as long as we are at the whim of somebody else's vision, that does not include our own heart, our own aliveness, our own connection to the divine, then we are living somebody else's vision or somebody else's dream, and we are never ever going to be fulfilled. It's simply impossible. If we want to be fulfilled, we have to go to our own heart, because that is where the fulfillment is found. And I'm talking about true fulfillment, not a temporary fulfillment that you might get out in the world when you get something, when you have an experience, when somebody loves you, something that we keep grasping and reaching out to the world to get, hoping to find peace and love and fulfillment in our lives. You see, that is part of a dream that is not yours, or a vision. I can use vision and dream interchangeably here. It's when we do these things, we are basically reaching out away from ourselves into somebody else's vision. And when I saw that is how the world is living. Most people are completely out of touch and out of tune with their own vision. And when I saw that, it was so sad in a way to see how we have left our vision and our truth, and that which will make us feel fulfilled, and that which will help us live in a world that is based in harmony and peace, joy, justice, the things that most of us feel in our heart is the truth of living here, is the way we can live together. So I want to just really invite you to take that step back as much as possible. You might, I kind of see an image of all of us with our hands and arms. They're stretched out in front of us into the world, grasping to get something out there. You see, it's as if what we long for and what will make us feel happy is out there. And if you look at society, that is how it is all set up. You see, it's the whole way society runs is for you and me to go out there and get something. And if you don't have it, and if you don't have the means, we go out there and we might steal, cheat, lie in order to get something out there so we can feel at peace inside. Or we go out there and work very, very hard in order to get enough money to pay for our bills. But it's always about going out there and getting something and hoping that it will give us what we long for. Well, I have news for you. It is never going to be found out there, except maybe for a fleeting moment. And then you will have to go out there and get more and more and more. So the best thing we need to do, the best thing we can do is come back. Come back to yourself. Let me just see, is there a... So, I'm sorry about that. I got a little distracted. I'm trying to check and see if there was a chat there, so my apologies. So, let's just come back. Turn the attention. If you can have this image of yourself where you're reaching out into the world to get something, and trust me, everything you're trying to get out there, your mind is going to tell you that you need to get this in order to fill in the blank. Pay the bill, get food on the table for my children, all very, very good reasons and necessary reasons, because we live in this world that's how it is set up. But if you really go into your heart for a moment and ask yourself, is this how I want to live my life? Do I want to live in a state of survival and making enough money, concerned that there's not going to be enough for my family, having to work harder in order to have more or in order to have enough? This is how most of us live. We're all under that spell. And it is a spell, but because we are all under it, we don't question it. So I'm just going to invite you to question what it is that drives you, what it is that motivates you. And if you're like most people, it is probably a sense of survival, security, and safety, hoping to find it out in the world. But when we look out into the world, there is not a whole lot of safety, security, and survival. I mean, the world is going mad out there. And yet, because we don't quite know what else to do, we keep reaching out. We keep hoping it's going to change. We keep hoping things will come back to normal at some point, not quite realizing that we are the ones who are feeding the world that we don't really want to live in anymore. So let me just repeat that. It's a matter of realizing that you and I are feeding the world that we don't want to live in anymore. And this is not to be seen as a judgment or a criticism. It's simply an invitation to wake up to what's happening. And I think it's very, very important that we first realize what we are hooked into and what we feel trapped in. And then it really is like a hamster wheel, right? Sometimes it feels like, well, if I run faster or if I work harder on this wheel, it will change. But all that happens is that you are running faster or working harder on a hamster wheel, which is not going anywhere. So what to do? What to do? Well, the best thing to do is to pause, to slow down, and really take a look at what is going on in your world, in your life, and what is driving you. And do that, again, I always want to really stress this. Do this with a lot of love and kindness to yourself, because we're all trapped in this. And the more of us who wake up to the hamster wheel we are all running on, the bigger chance there is that we can recognize it and simply stop. What happens if you stop running on the hamster wheel? The wheel stops. It simply stops. And then you're standing there on your hamster wheel and you go, well, what now? Because all we've known is running around on a hamster wheel. And we don't quite know what else to do. So when sometimes it slows down a little bit and we start seeing it, but then it gets scary because we don't know what else to do. So what do you do if you don't run on a hamster wheel, if that's all you know? And the hamster wheel, that can kind of represent the civilization we have built, created, and lived in. So again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no criticism, there's no judgment, there's nothing wrong or bad. I think we've just come to a place where we're tired of it. It doesn't make us happy. It doesn't make us fulfilled. There have been times where we thought it did, and there's been times where we felt happy and fulfilled. And I'm not saying we don't have happiness and fulfillment in our lives on the hamster wheel. That's all part of it. But generally, it's not giving us the deep fulfillment that we all long for. You may have heard the saying that says, where there is no vision, the people perish. It's from the Bible, and it's a quite well-known one, I think. And there's another one by Peter Marshall that says, give us clear vision that we may know where to stand and what to stand for. Because unless we stand for something, we shall fall for anything. Now, have we fallen for the hamster wheel because we are not standing for our vision? Could that be? Could it be that those people who have vision and who created a hamster wheel, and with a lot of beautiful enticements and attractions and entertainments, when we get into the hamster wheel, it's because we are being tempted to believe that there is something in it that will make us happy. And that's, how marketing works. That's how we are being pulled into believing that there is something in there that will give us what we really want. And somehow we keep going deeper and deeper into the hamster wheel, into the dream, into the nightmare. And it's because we keep hoping that it will get better. Because, again, we don't know that there is an other option. We don't know what else to do. And this is where I want to repeat again. We need to pause, slow down, even stop, and just be willing to feel the momentum that is built up in us from running around or racing around this hamster wheel for most of our lives, and feel the fear that might come with that when we suddenly stop. And then we look at it with eyes wide open. And then you may go, oh my gosh, what is this? What am I doing here? And I know for myself that the tendency is so strong in most of us just to go back and do it again, do the same thing because we don't know what else to do. Or we think, well, everybody else is still doing it, so I'm going to do it too, because what am I going to do on my own? What if I'm the only one who's seeing this? And how am I going to start a life outside of the hamster wheel? Because the whole society is built up around hamster wheels. You see, so there is this place in all of us where we need to be very courageous and willing to face the fear and the disillusionment by seeing it, and then be willing and open to see, well, what is possible? What else is possible? And because our whole society has bought into the hamster wheel theory or the hamster wheel dream or vision, how do you suddenly make a collective stop without the whole society falling apart? Right? That's kind of what it would look like. If you imagine everybody's running around a hamster wheel going nowhere. It seems like we're going somewhere, but truthfully, you're not. And then if we all suddenly stopped, well, what would happen? The whole money system would collapse. The whole war system would collapse. The whole medical system would collapse. There would be so many things that would collapse because they're not based on true heart vision. They're based on hamster wheel theory. They're basically based on something that is not sustainable, that has no foundation, no true foundation. It only has a foundation in the hamster wheel theory or the hamster wheel vision. But it cannot get us to a place where we live in harmony and in peace within ourselves and each other and with the planet, which I know most of us are longing for. And you can just check in with yourself if this is something that you would like to live, or if you like the hamster wheel world, then go for it. Then there is room for those who still like that. We have all liked it, otherwise we wouldn't have been traveling these long distances on hamster wheels. It's because we wanted it. We liked the challenges. We liked all the things that came with hamster wheel vision. It's because we wanted it. So again, nobody's wrong, nobody's bad. It's just more and more people are really getting tired of running around in circles and not getting anywhere, and passing it on to their children because, well, that's what everybody does. When I look around, that seems to be all there is. So let's just keep running around. But I'm just going to remind you again, there is another way, but we need to start collectively expose that and tap into the new way. Just because we can and just because it's there. And like I've talked about so many times, the more people are tapping into this, are opening up to this new paradigm, the easier it will be for every single one of us. So it's not like you stop your hamster wheel and bang, like, oh my God, I'm all on my own. If you notice that a lot of people around you are doing it too, then you go, oh, I'm not totally alone. So maybe I want to start connecting with these other people who want to try something else. And that's what I'm here to hopefully inspire you to do, is to start checking out and finding other people who might have the same vision as yours, or maybe the same disillusionment with the collective vision that we have all bought into. Yes, this is a very juicy and sometimes a little heavy topic, but it has a good side to it too, and I want to talk a little more about that after the break that we're going to go on in a little bit. If you want to learn more about what I offer as my life purpose, as my life work, I want to invite you to go to my website, which is lillarose.com, spelled LILLAROSE.com. And here you can see I have my radio show on there, and also you can go to Women Standing for Love. That website is on there. And you can read more about how I'm trying to really connect people and get women and also men together so that we can start talking about what is possible when we get off the wheel. So let's talk about that when we come back after this short break. Thank you.
You are listening to the Awakened Radio Network. Visit our website where you can chat with our hosts at awakenedradio.net. If you'd like to listen to us on the go, Visit tunein.com. Download their free app and then look for Awakened Radio. You can take us everywhere. Tell all your friends how to listen to the Awakened Radio Network. Awakened Radio is a people-powered radio station. We are occupying the airwaves with the message of personal empowerment, encouraging our listeners to create consciously, to be aware, to be honest, and to heal those areas of our lives that are really starting to bug us. Join our host at awakenedradio.net, where you will find discussions on energy work, meditation, politics, UFOs, aliens, and everything in between. Awakenedradio.net, the people-powered information radio station. Did you know that you can host your own broadcast with the Awakened Radio Network? Join us at awakenedradio.net. Look up at the top where it says services. Click on Be a Host. Check there for information on how to share your message with our global listening audience. You can also add Awakened Radio to Skype and contact our station manager, or email the station at awakenedradio@gmail.com. Find out how easy, fun, and awesome it is to be part of the Awakened Radio Network family.
Welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Thank you for joining and listening. This is your host, Pernilla Little-Rose, and this show is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. Welcome back. Yes, welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio. This is Pernilla Little-Rose again, your host, and it's just me and you today, and I am hoping that you're going to join me. I invite you to go to the chat room, which is Awakened Radio /live chat room. It's safe in there. I would love to just get a little hello from you, or a question, or a sharing. It would be fun to connect. Or you can also call in if you have something you want to share or ask me. That number is 334-649-7204. Well, it's been wonderful to be here with you before the break, and now we're going to continue. Maybe we will spend a little more time on what actually is possible. What I've been talking about until now is more about what we have been hooked into and what has made us basically unhappy, most of us, not really fulfilled in a way that we really want to. And if you think about what really, really makes you happy, where does your aliveness come out? What makes you feel in resonance with you? You know, so you're not moving away from yourself, but you come home and you may think like, oh, you know, I want to do more of this. I would like to spend more time maybe gardening. Well, that's one of mine. And maybe yours too. Or maybe you want to help children get more creative in the way they express themselves. Or you may want to go and maybe get more creative in learning to paint or draw or sculpture, anything like that. Anything that when you go inside, you go, oh man, I wish I had more time to do that. I wish I could get off the hamster wheel and get into my art studio and just be really creative. Those are the things that are waiting for you and me to express themselves the moment we start listening. That is where we need to start making the transition, not get off the hamster wheel, and then you suddenly stand there like, yeah, but I still need money because my life is still hooked into the system, which it is for all of us. So we're not going to be unwise. We're going to take the steps needed so we can make a transition that is smooth, harmonious, easy, all the things that we want to experience in life. We need to make sure we start implementing them in everything we do. It could be small things, could be bigger things, but it's always a good way to start small so you don't feel it's overwhelming you. It doesn't put your life on hold. It keeps everything moving smoothly, but you can start implementing certain things in different areas of your life where it's not going to disrupt you, or at least not too much. A little disruption is okay. But so you can start creating a new life as you are slowly coming off the hamster wheel. It may mean that instead of running around the hamster wheel 60 hours a week, you might start running a little slower. Maybe you can get down to 50 or 40 hours a week at some point. And then you have that extra time that you can start spending on the things that really matter to you. You might notice that you are spending a lot of hours on the hamster wheel on your computer, on maybe Facebook, or certain things that are fun to keep the connection with people, and you may not feel so lonely. And we all know a lot of time disappears into this big black hole when you sit at your computer. So you might just consider, well, instead of spending an hour, let's say, I'm just saying something, an hour a day on Facebook, maybe I want to go around my neighborhood and see if there is something going on. Maybe you like gardening. Maybe you notice that there is plot somewhere that's not being used, or somebody has a garden that looks that's not being kept up. And you might connect with the person and say, I have this idea, I have this vision that it would be so nice if we could grow vegetables on our little street here, so we can all enjoy that. We can all share it. We can all work on the garden. Would you be open if we used your garden and clean it up, make it really nice, and then we can maybe build some beds and start growing vegetables? And I have to just say here on a side note that is kind of one of my visions, and that's something that I'm doing in my own life right now. And I'll tell you a little more about it. But I want to just put it out as an example of what you could spend an hour a day instead of spending it on your computer or on the television or on your cell phone or texting, things that just have become more busyness on the hamster wheel, creating maybe some connections, maybe superficial connections, maybe deeper connections. But if we really want to create meaning, deep meaning in our life, wouldn't it be nice if we just knew our own neighborhood? If we knew our own neighbors, and instead of going home and text to somebody or Facebook with somebody that you don't even know or just maybe barely know, why not go out and say hello, meet your neighbors, and see maybe they have a similar vision as you do? It's very possible. There's, of course, many other things. You might go for a walk down to the beach and bring a big plastic bag and collect some of the trash that's been dropped there. And then when you come home, you just put it in your trash can, and you might feel that you've actually done something that's much more valuable than sitting in front of the TV. You see, so it's a matter of taking out some time from the hamster wheel life and putting it somewhere that makes you much more happy and fulfilled. And I'll just share what's been going on here in my own life. We do have a little community garden on the street where I live. It's a small street. I think there's 10 or 15 houses. And we all know each other. It's a very, very special neighborhood. We all agree on that. And it just happened to be so that there is a little plot where there were some planter boxes that have been there for years. And a number of years ago, I got the neighborhood together, and we kind of all wanted to start growing vegetables. And a lot of us have done that for a while. But it was like, this is my box, and I water my box, and this is my food. And if you would go out of town, of course, you could ask your neighbors to water your plants, and we would share food if there's extra. So it's always been very, very sweet, and there is really a sweet connection between all of us. And but now we're expanding it out. We're going to do it differently. We want to simply grow food in all the boxes that belongs to everybody. It's not like, oh, those are my zucchinis or those are my tomatoes. It's like, no, these are our tomatoes and our zucchinis. So we want to start moving from a place of caring and contributing with each other. And this is something that's been in my heart for quite a while, and I've been living it the best way I could. I certainly still had a lot of this, like, oh, people are going to take advantage of me if I just give, because, let's be honest, I think we've all experienced that we've been taken advantage of. So there is a caution to do it again. But the more we are just open about it, and the more we share with others, this is something I really want to do. This is how I would like to see my neighborhood. I would like to see that there's simply food for everyone. And then instead of me going over and watering my plants, my planter box every day or every other day, no, now we can set a schedule where one person waters it all one day and one does it the next day. So we are simply contributing to each other. And we're going to grow more food than we can eat, because if you really look at it, you can grow a lot of food in a very small area, because we don't need a lot of food. We don't, a couple of carrots and some zucchinis and some kale. It's like you can create a whole meal. So we don't need a lot, but plants are very, very generous, and they give us an abundance of food. So if we start growing more food, we think we can maybe start sharing it with people who don't have enough. Maybe people who are really struggling to even, pay their food bills, or maybe bring it to a church where they feed the hungry. So there's a way where we can start contributing besides our own little street here. And to me, it just feels like a wonderful vision that's coming true. Now, my vision doesn't end here, but it begins here. You see, we begin in our own backyard or front yard or community yard. We start in our own little area. And then from there, we can let it spread out. I think there's been a lot of good intentions and good ideas over the years about, creating peace and doing all these amazing things. And of course, there are people who do amazing things. That is, I really have a lot of admiration for those who are out there making much, much bigger contributions to the world than I could ever imagine. But they started somewhere. You have to start somewhere. So if we start in our own area, then we can start spreading it out. And my vision is still that we can live in a Santa Cruz. I live in Santa Cruz, a little town in California. I would like to see our Santa Cruz community become sustainable in all areas. And that means that there is food for everyone. And I'm just going to put out a vision right now, so you can just see if any of this resonates with you. If you can pick up on the vision and start feeling the possibility that this can actually happen. We talked a little bit about it last week on my show with Carrie, that we really want to work towards making this vision come true here in our community. So that would mean that everybody who is open and interested, they can make their garden, their front yard or backyard, available to grow food. We could maybe, if there's a group of us who are really into this, we can get together and maybe go from front yard or backyards to, from yard to yard, and build planter boxes, get soil, and start putting plants in, and simply start growing food. So that means that if your neighbor is going through a rough time, or maybe not a rough time, but they can just go and pick food in each other's gardens. I know I've been talking about this before, and to me, I just love the idea that that is possible, right? So then you become less and less dependent on the hamster wheel, because you have food, and water is something, that would need to be taken care of also, maybe rainwater catchment. So there's ways to start creating a way to live sustainably in our own little neighborhood as much as possible. You can't just make the transition cold turkey. Some people do, but that's because they buy land where they're completely off the grid, and that's not for everyone. That's not supposed to be for everyone. Some people like that, and that's wonderful. But for those of us who are more connected, we can just start unhooking a little bit at a time. And as we create new seeds, as we plant new seeds where we care about each other, instead of caring just for our own survival, we start putting that energy out to each other, so that if you get sick, I will be there to take care of you. We all have extra time. If we have certain skills, certain gifts, certain talents, we can start offering those in areas where there is a need. What would it take to get off the hamster wheel for a few hours a week and go and volunteer somewhere? Maybe you can volunteer at the schools, do some programs with the teenagers so they can start getting more connected with each other, so they can work through some of the issues that are there about separation and peer pressure, putting each other down, the things that are happening. Maybe you could join some programs that offer a lot of support and help in schools, where the children really connect with each other and start realizing that they have been very mean to each other. There's a big shift in consciousness that can happen there. So if that's something that speaks to you, just then Google it. Go online and Google and see if there's anything in your area that is offering that already, and then start putting your energy there. Start helping. Start creating something. It can only come back to what lives in your heart, what lives in my heart, what wants to express itself in this world. If you didn't feel trapped in the hamster wheel, if you could be part of creating a new world where hamster wheels little by little are being eliminated and replaced by a community of people who care for each other, who take care of each other, who give. If you're going through a hard time, you can go to your community. There's going to be a group of people somewhere that are offering their services to help. There's still a need to make money, of course, because we still are part of the hamster wheel vision. So we can't totally eliminate it all at once, all of us. And I don't think that we are meant to. It's an evolutionary process. And the evolution, the way it seems like it's going, is simply moving into a way where life is sustainable, where we take care of each other. Just imagine that. I said that last week too. I just want to put out the feeling, the vision, the possibility of living in a community where we take care of each other, Just take a moment here and just feel into yourself. What would it be like if you're going through a hard time, whether it's financially or emotionally or mentally, physically, health-wise, something where you're really going through a challenge and you don't know how to get off the hamster wheel because you need to do all these things. You need to pick up your kids at school, from school. You need to go shopping for food. You need to make the food for them. So there's all these things to do while you are struggling with whatever problem you're having. And I know this relates to a lot of people. So what would it be like then? Instead, that you knew that your community will support you. Right? There might be somebody who will help you pick up your kids, or you might come home and somebody had made dinner for you because they had extra to give that day or that week or maybe all the time. So they would be happy to support you so you could just relax and take care of what it was that you need to take care of. So just imagine that that is possible, that you could slowly climb off the hamster wheel and just let yourself be held by your community, by a network of people in your community who collectively have decided to do it differently. Can you feel that? Every time I talk about this or feel into it, I notice there's something in me that just relaxes. It's like, oh my goodness, that would feel so good. I want that, right? There's that like, oh, I wish that were possible. And it is possible. It has to be possible because we all want it. So how can it not be possible if there is a collective yearning and longing for living more in community where we care about each other? And there will still be time to take your own time, take time for yourself. It's not like we have to do everything together all the time. That's not what I'm talking about. That could be there, but there is room for each individuality and uniqueness. Right? Can we live in a state of community, in a state of togetherness, in a state of oneness, and bring our uniqueness into that, instead of having to be all the same, where we all run around the same hamster wheel and, put in the same amount of hamster wheel hours every week? No, maybe somebody only works one day a week or 1 hour a week because that is simply their unique expression, and that their beingness itself is a contribution to the community. And then there's others who just love being out in the gardens. I'm probably one of those. And I love spending hours out there digging and planting and clearing and doing a lot of things. I just love it. So there will be people who love to put in more energy, and that's their unique expression. And you see, it's all part of the same oneness. It's part of the same wholeness, where every single part, every single piece of the puzzle that I've talked about before has a very unique and significant part to play in this wholeness. It's not like everybody has to do the same. On the contrary, everybody has to do their unique piece. And guess where you find this unique piece? You find it in yourself. You find it by turning back inside and let yourself daydream. Let your imagination come forward, but let it come from your heart. It comes with a feeling of a sweet longing or a sweet yearning for something that you know would make the world or just your life, whatever it is, a better place. it would make you more happy, right? And when you're more happy, people around you are more happy. And when you live your life, when you live your part of your vision, that gives permission to others around you to do the same. They go, oh, well, she's off the hamster wheel, or he's off the hamster wheel. Maybe I can try that too. And then you can say, yeah, let me hold your hand while you're getting off the wheel. I'll show you the next steps, how you get off the hamster wheel and start looking for something else to do. And because you've done it, you are able to help others do the same, and it will feel very satisfying and fulfilling to you. And of course, I speak from my own experience a lot here, because I have been on hamster wheels, and there's still part of me that are on certain hamster wheels. Most of me is off them most of the time, but not all the time. There is back and forth, and that's okay. But I know enough that I can guide other people who want to get off the hamster wheel. I know enough that I can help you do that, because I've taken the steps. And I have had other people help me get off my hamster wheels because they had taken their steps. Can you see that sense of contribution that comes from that, where you have learned something that's valuable, that makes a difference in the world, and that you want to help other people do too, so that together we can create a new world? And it is possible. It is possible. I want to so underline that and say it is possible to create a new world. And this new world is not created by one person. It is created by you and me together. We're doing it together this time. And when we do this together, it's going to be so different. And yes, we have to move through all our layers of separation, of control, of wanting to be better, wanting to be the one who did it. You know, there's all these layers of ego that are still getting in our way. But if there is a willingness to face those so that we can create a new way, then it's possible. And it won't be all of us all at once, but as long as there's enough of us to start, people will follow, because in our heart, we all want that. So it's a matter of becoming a model for the world, of living this new energy, living this new paradigm, where we care for each other and where we contribute, and where we simply start living in oneness as one community that really wants to make a difference. So I hope that has sparked a little bit of a vision in your heart that may inspire you to just start looking, where can you do things a little bit differently? Where can you get off the hamster wheel? And where can you start taking steps in a new direction? I invite you to go to my website or the forum page here on Awaken Radio, or to my Facebook page. The best one would be go to Women Standing for Love on Facebook, and just share yourself. I would love to hear from you. And you can find all that information on my website, which is lillarose.com, LILLAROSE.com. And here, if you want to find out what it would be like to work with me privately, you can sign up for a free discovery session and get a sense of what that might look like for you to get off the hamster wheel and start moving into the vision that's waiting in your heart for you to open up for it. My friends, thank you so much. It's been a blessing to be with you, and I look forward to being here with you again next week. Many blessings. Bye-bye.